On August 23, 2023, a private jet traveling from Moscow to St. Petersburg crashed, resulting in the deaths of all passengers on board. Among the passengers were Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner Group, and the group's leadership. Prigozhin was a figure who had once been one of Vladimir Putin's closest allies, but had led a coup against Putin on June 24, 2023. Let's delve into the life of Prigozhin, who handled Putin's dirty work. Born on June 1, 1961, in Leningrad, Soviet Union, now St. Petersburg, Prigozhin's childhood was far from happy. His father died when he was young, and his mother worked at a local hospital, supporting Prigozhin and his ailing grandmother. Later, a stepfather entered his life, and influenced by his stepfather's profession as a cross-country skiing instructor, Prigozhin dreamed of becoming a cross-country skier during his school years. He trained hard and attended a boarding school to prepare for this career, but his performance was poor, possibly due to a lack of talent or insufficient practice. Facing the harsh realities of his difficult family environment and the barriers to his dreams, Prigozhin began to go astray at the age of 18. In 1979, at the age of 18, he was arrested for theft and received a suspended sentence. 2 years later, in 1981, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison for robbery, fraud, theft, and involving minors in prostitution. Although his accomplices were also tried, Prigozhin, as the ringleader, received the heaviest sentence. However, he was pardoned in 1988 and released in 1990. After spending 9 years in prison, Prigozhin returned to society with nothing, no home, no possessions, and no skills. Determined to avoid further crimes and the severe consequences they would bring, he decided to turn his life around. He began selling hot dogs at the Apraxin Dvor market in Leningrad. Together with his mother and stepfather, Prigozhin started selling hot dogs, and the business became a huge success. In an interview with the New York Times, Prigozhin mentioned that money was piling up faster than he could count it. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, hidden entrepreneurs began to emerge in Russia, and Prigozhin was among them. Starting with hot dogs at the market, Prigozhin's business took off as he got involved with the first grocery store chain in St. Petersburg. Anything related to food in the city passed through Prigozhin's hands. As Russia opened up, many people from abroad began to visit, and the hotel industry started to flourish. Unlike other wealthy individuals, Prigozhin had experienced hard times and knew what the public wanted. He was recognized for his marketing skills and business acumen. These abilities led him to be appointed as the CEO of Spectrum CJSC, the company that established the first casino in a St. Petersburg hotel. At this company, Prigozhin engaged in various activities, including trade and construction investments, and amassed a significant personal fortune during a time when bribery and lobbying were rampant. Many experts believe that it was during this period that Prigozhin first met Putin, who was then the chairman of the Gambling Supervision Committee. However, there likely wasn't much interaction between them at that time, as Putin was not yet in a position of power, and Prigozhin was just a businessman. In 1995, Prigozhin's monopolized businesses began to lose profitability as other companies offering better services and businesses emerged. In the face of this adversity, Prigozhin decided to open a high-end restaurant, a concept not yet widespread in Russia. This restaurant also became a huge success, becoming the most famous restaurant in the region. Russia's elite and wealthy all visited Prigozhin's restaurant, including Putin. After Putin came to power, French President Jacques Chirac and, in 2002, U.S. President George Bush also dined at Prigozhin's restaurant at Putin's invitation. In 2003, Putin's birthday was also celebrated at Prigozhin's restaurant. This marked the beginning of the complex relationship between Putin and Prigozhin. Prigozhin left the company he had shares in and started his own business. While people didn't understand his actions, he had his reasons. Prigozhin's new company began securing massive government contracts, including providing meals for school children and government officials. In 2012, he even secured a contract to supply meals to the Russian military. This contract greatly helped Prigozhin establish his new company, the Internet Research Agency. Despite its seemingly trivial name, this company was far from ordinary. The Internet Research Agency was founded with the purpose of manipulating public opinion to interfere in governments and elections worldwide. Putin began to trust Prigozhin immensely for handling such dirty work. Both publicly and privately, enormous sums of money flowed to Prigozhin, and he continued to undertake tasks that would please Putin. In 2014, the Wagner Group emerged. The purpose of this company can be summarized in one sentence: it does the things that the Russian state cannot officially do. When the Wagner Group first appeared, Prigozhin denied any involvement. However, since the previous head of the Wagner Group was Prigozhin's security chief, people suspected that Prigozhin was indeed in charge. The Wagner Group carried out ruthless operations, and in 2022, war broke out between Ukraine and Russia. The Wagner Group openly advertised for mercenaries, and Prigozhin no longer hid the fact that he was the head of the group. He even recruited prisoners to be sent to the front lines. Just as the Wagner Group had done in the past, they committed numerous war crimes during the war between Ukraine and Russia. According to intelligence agencies from the United States and the United Kingdom, the Wagner Group is essentially a military faction with better equipment than the Russian army. They even stated that the Wagner Group was effectively leading the Russian regular army. However, at some point, Prigozhin began to criticize Putin. He told Putin that members of parliament should go to the front lines and said to Russia's chief of general staff Gerasimov, "People are dying, so you can sit like a fat cat." He also started criticizing the entire elite, including the fact that the children of high-ranking officials were not going to the military. The reason Prigozhin did this was that Russia was trying to take over the Wagner Group, and he was losing his power struggle. Eventually, on June 23, 2023, Prigozhin staged a coup. He called it a March for Justice and redirected the troops heading towards Ukraine back towards Russia. He led the Wagner Group to seize the headquarters in the strategic southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don and announced that they were also controlling the airfield. He declared that they would destroy anything that stood in their way as they marched north towards Moscow. Intelligence agencies around the world, including the United States, predicted that the coup would fail. For the coup to succeed, the Wagner Group would need to have overwhelming military power over the Russian regular army, or Putin's opponents or military generals would need to join the coup. However, Prigozhin staged the coup alone. Despite this, Prigozhin continued to advance, and with the world's attention focused on him, he dramatically agreed to withdraw. Under the mediation of the Belarusian president, Prigozhin agreed to go into exile in Belarus. The coup was essentially impossible, and having failed his last gamble to secure his position, Prigozhin had no other choice. Eventually, Prigozhin died in the explosion of his private jet. Although Russia denies involvement, suspicions remain. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you for watching.